Hi everyone, my name is Sophia David and I'm 16 and I'm gonna be a junior at Lakeside School this fall. And today I'm here to talk about anterior cruciate ligament reconstruction and osteoarthritis in adolescents. So a little bit more about why I wanted to research about this. I actually tore my ACL and my meniscus a couple years ago, and I really just wanted to learn more about what I would be experiencing in the future, what I'd be at risk for, and I know a lot of people who also tore their ACL as well, and I think it's really important to know some of the things that I could be experiencing in the future. Yeah. So my research question for this study is, if there is correlation, how much correlation is there between ACL reconstruction and osteoarthritis, specifically in adolescent patients? I also wanted to make sure I was looking into how OA develops, what preventative measures can be taken, and the long-term effects and the care needed for the patient in the long term. So for this research, my hypothesis was that post-reconstruction adolescents would have higher risk of developing OA or osteoarthritis than healthy adolescents with no knee injury. But these patients with ACL reconstruction would have less risk of developing OA than athletes who injured their ACL with conservative treatment or no surgery. And my methods for this research was to study articles, case series, systematic reviews, etc., that were all written in the last 20 years. The latest one was in 2006. My criteria for this research was that the patients in the study had to be adolescents at the time of injury or reconstruction. So yeah, that's about my methods. So a little bit of background, what is ACL reconstruction? It's a surgery to remove the ACL with a graft and replace it with a graft. It can be a patellar tendon, hamstring, or cadaver graft. And this is an extremely common surgery. It takes about 250,000 Americans per year rupture their ACL. It takes a lot of physical therapy to rehabilitate back into the sport and go back to walking in a healthy manner. That's a surgery is pretty major. It's done to stabilize the knee, repair the meniscus, and a major portion is also ensuring that the knee will not give way or be at risk for a re-injury as well. So now I'm going to go into a little more background about what osteoarthritis is. I'm going to refer to it as OA in this presentation a lot. So most patients who have osteoarthritis experience a lot of pain, stiffness, and functional impairment when they have it. But as a diagnosis, it's often characterized by loss of articular cartilage, the development of osteophytes, which you can see here, and loss of joint space, which can be seen on the radiographic evaluation in that second image there. But both these radiographic imaging and symptoms are used for a diagnosis as well. So about the biomechanics of how this happens. So after an ACL injury or reconstruction, it is very common to have abnormal kinematics when walking and in other movements as well, because it affects it a lot. Specifically in the biomechanics of the knee after the reconstruction, many patients have an anterior position shift of the tibia relative to the femur, and this abnormality in gait is linked with early degenerative changes in the knee cartilage, which is also one of the most prevalent symptoms of osteoarthritis. About 85% of ACL reconstruction patients have this abnormal rotation in the stance phase of gait, which you can see here, and that's when the movement when it's repeated quite frequently, it damages the cartilage over time. So the first trial I found that matched all of my criteria, it focused on the long-term results of ACL reconstruction in comparison with conservative treatment, which means obviously no surgery and only changes in lifestyle. So this study used radiographic assessment using the IKDC scale. It's a questionnaire which contains sections on knee symptoms, function, and how your knee works during sports activities. And the scores in this scale ranged from 0, which was the lowest level of function and the highest level of symptoms, to 100 points, which is the highest level of function and the lowest level of symptoms. And based on this questionnaire and radiographic imaging, the patients were graded on the scale. And this study was specifically split into two groups. Group 1 was patients with ACL reconstruction and or meniscus repair, and Group 2 was with the conservatively treated ACL injury patients. So on this graph, you can see that A is the normal radiographic image of a non-osteoarthritis knee, and on the scale D is the most severe case of OA in these patients that was seen on the radiographic imaging. And because the p-value was exactly 0.5, and we know that p-value means that these results are not random, that they are significant, and there's no random chance of it happening, we conclude that the patients with a stable knee had better function and sports activity levels, and this was the patients that had the reconstruction, and they had much better function, stability, and had much less pain and swelling as well. So moving on to the second part of the results of this first trial. This next graph shows the development of degenerative changes right here in figure 2. Half of these patients in group 1 had mild degenerative changes, but only 16.5% had severe OA, which was the group 1's results, and group 2's results had 56% of the patients had severe OA, which is statistically significant as well. Another thing that we can conclude from this trial is that the highest percentage of cases with OA and more severe cases OA was for patients with meniscus injury and reconstruction as well. Okay, moving on to the second trial I researched. It aimed to determine the prevalence of radiographic knee OA and the knee-related symptoms and functional limitations and symptoms that came with that as well. And it had 103 people and an average 12 years post-operative. And of course, they were adolescents at the time of injury. This trial used the JSN scale, so it's the joint space narrowing grade, which was one of the symptoms of osteoarthritis. Like I talked about earlier, joint space narrowing is one of the symptoms. And they also used a couple questionnaires as well about pain, the symptoms the patients were experiencing, and how it affected their daily life as well. So results of this trial, it used radiographic images of both knees too. It used both the index knee, the injured knee, and it viewed radiographic images of the uninjured knee as well. These results showed that significantly more patients with ACL reconstructed knee had radiographic change in the patiofemoral joint compared with non-surgically treated patients. We know that because the p-value was 0.01, and we also concluded that ACL injured players who also underwent meniscus surgery had a higher prevalence of radiographic knee OA than those without surgery, which was a p-value of 0.02 as well. Okay, and another thing we concluded from this trial, around 50% of these patients had radiographic knee OA, but for the specific diagnosis, around 42% of these patients had symptomatic and radiographic knee OA. And many of these patients also had major lack of confidence and symptoms in these knees as well. Around 70% of these patients had these with ACL injury. They were not confident in their ability to be stable and their symptoms of the knee as well. So moving on to how we can prevent this from happening, or how we can stop the osteoarthritis from happening after the ACL injury. It needs to focus on both short-term and long-term injury prevention, not only just the ACL rupturing again, but also how we can prevent osteoarthritis OA from developing. And in addition to this, treatment after injury and preventive training cannot be stopped at a certain date after re-injury too. Agility training, strength training, focusing on balance and stability is also really important for the prevention as well. And loss of research from what can be done about this, we need to have more access to prevention as well, because there's a long process for ACL reconstruction patients as well. My conclusion, ACL injury reconstruction in general leads to degenerative changes in cartilage just 1 year after surgery. And a lot of this is meniscus injuries associated with reconstruction have even higher risks of developing osteoarthritis. And these studies showed that ACL reconstruction is useful in preventing earlier OA and ACL injuries as well. But for the future studies, we need to focus on the prevention and rehabilitation side of this. There needs to be more randomly controlled trials and clinical trials, and look into more surgical and rehab techniques to see if the development of OA can be stopped from surgical techniques as well. And lastly, originally I wanted my sample size for this research to be just on female athletes, but there wasn't enough research available just for that sample size group, so I would like to see that change and more inclusive research for a different sample size as well. Here are my references, and thank you to SSF, Dr. Pierre, all my peers, and family too. Thank you so much.
Any questions?
Hey, thank you so much. That was such a great presentation, and you certainly picked a controversial topic, so thank you for doing that. That's really brave. I thought you did an awesome job. I would comment that you focused on girls having ACL tears, and that was very insightful of you. They're 4 times more likely to have an ACL tear.
Yeah.
And you also did a really good job of picking up on the kinematics. Did you happen to come across any of the research about what the difference in neuromuscular activation between girls and boys leads to that increased rates of ACL tears?
I didn't get to see that difference between girls and boys, but there wasn't much research that I found on that in my articles at least, but I would like to look up more of that in the future. That would be interesting to me. Okay,
great. Yeah, I would definitely, there's a great paper series called the Moon Study, and it's very highly powered, and that would be great for you to read. I think you would really enjoy it. Typically, girls tend to be more quad dominant, so when they stop fast, they tend to stop on a straight knee, whereas male athletes tend to stop on a bent knee, and you probably came across that at some point. So that leads to hamstring strengthening in females is certainly important, which also makes sense because it pulls the tibia back, which is what the ACL fights prevents happening. So great job. I'm really proud of you. You obviously learned a lot.
Yeah, thank you.